Hi, do you know when to use much, many, a lot, and a few? It's really not as confusing as you might think. This is Susan Broder from Speak Languages and Travel the World, here to help you improve your English with minimum effort and maximum benefit. Now, biggest problem in distinguishing when to use much, many, a lot, and a few is to know when a word is countable or uncountable. Now, uncountable words are, for example, water. When you can't quantify it, you need to put it into a bottle of water, a glass of water, but you can't just say, I'd like a water. Water can't be quantified. The same for sugar. You ask, how much sugar would you like? And you don't say 1 grain of sugar, 2 grains of sugar. You say, I'd like a spoon of sugar, a kilo of sugar. So again, you can't quantify it. You need to package it somehow. And so uncountable words are words which don't have a plural and are used only in the singular. Also, homework, for example, is uncountable. You don't say, I have a lot of homeworks, but you say, I have a lot of homework. How much homework have you got? I've got a lot. So uncountable words are usually considered, let's say, like the singular, and countable words, which I often express as plural words, apples. So how many apples would you like? I can count them. 1 apple, 2 apples. I can also say a kilo of apples, but I can count the apples. So how many potatoes? How many people? You have to be able to count things to use words which are countable. Countable words are, as the name says, things that you can count. Let's go through this list I've compiled to make the differences clearer. With countable words, you can say, I'd like an apple, I'd like 2 apples, I'd like some apples, I'd like a potato, I'd like 2 potatoes, I'd like some potatoes. I'd like an egg, I'd like 2 eggs, I'd like some eggs. I'd like a sandwich, I'd like 2 sandwiches, I'd like some sandwiches. I've got some pens, have you got any pens? And remember that people means more than one person. Uncountable words are words that you can't count. So you can't say, I'd like a pea or I'd like 2 peas. You have to say, I'd like some peas, I'd like a kilo of peas, I'd like a packet of peas. The same goes for sugar. You can't say, I'd like a sugar or I'd like 2 sugars. You have to say, I'd like some sugar, I'd like a kilo of sugar, I'd like a packet of sugar, I'd like a bag of sugar. Likewise, you can't say, I'd like a water, I'd like 2 waters. You have to say, I'd like some water, I'd like a bottle of water, I'd like a glass of water. And if you go to the bar and say, I'd like 2 waters, you're referring to whatever they sell, a glass or a bottle. You can't say, I'd like a butter or I'd like 2 butters unless you're inside a supermarket asking and it's obvious what kind of packaging it has. You should really say, I'd like some butter or I'd like a packet of butter. Typical uncountable words are liquids such as milk, tea, coffee, but also cheese is uncountable, rice is uncountable, information is uncountable. Information is a word that many people get wrong. You can't ask, can I have some informations? You must use information in the singular form. Other typical uncountable words are the news, the internet, money, referring to a quantity of coins, time, housework, homework, luggage, furniture. These are all uncountable words. I'd also like to point out that in some languages, the countable and uncountable words are different. Homework is one of them. You can't say, as I said, how many homeworks. but another one is people. People are individuals, and so for us in English they are countable, whilst in other languages the word people is uncountable. The same goes for money. Money in English is an uncountable word, but in other languages it's countable. So you must be careful not to expect it to be countable or uncountable depending on your own language. Remember, money uncountable, people countable, homework uncountable. So now that we've clarified that point, let me show you a document which I prepared, which makes it quite clear on when you're supposed to use much, many, a lot, and a few. Take a look here. How do we use much, many, few, and a little? Let's look at this table. A lot is the general word, a lot or a lot of, which we can use in any situation, in the affirmative, in the negative, in the question, for singular or uncountable nouns, for plural or countable nouns. So a lot is a big quantity and you can use it in all forms, singular and plural, affirmative, negative, and question. Much, on the other hand, cannot be used in the affirmative, but only in the negative and in the question. So I can ask, how much does it cost? We haven't got much money. Money is uncountable. So much only for the negative and the question. We can't really say, I've got much food in the fridge. You have to say, I've got a lot of food in the fridge. So the only way to speak about a big quantity in the affirmative is to say a lot. Instead, in the plural, for countable nouns, we can say, I have many friends. I don't have many friends. Do you have many friends? Or do you have a lot of friends? So many can be used for the affirmative, negative, and question, just like a lot. However, if you are in doubt, if you're worried about getting things wrong, use a lot and you'll never make a mistake, even if much and many are a little bit more elegant, a little bit more formal. Now, to speak about small quantities, in the affirmative and in the interrogative, we say a little for singular or uncountable nouns, whilst for the negative, we say not much, as I had already mentioned earlier. I have a little chocolate. I don't have much chocolate. Do we have a little chocolate? We could also ask, do we have much chocolate? So these are interchangeable. For the plural or countable nouns, we again say a few for the affirmative and the interrogative, whilst we speak about not many for the negative. I have a few friends. I don't have many friends. Do you have a few friends? So as you can see, it's really not that difficult to distinguish. The theory is much more complicated than the practice. So as you can see, it's not really very difficult. You just have to remember that much is not used in the affirmative and that a lot or a lot of comprises all the forms for the big quantities. So if you're in doubt, use a lot and you'll never make a mistake. Why don't you write some example sentences in the comments below using much, many, a lot, and a few. I hope this was useful for you, and I look forward to seeing you in the next video. Bye!